Hey everybody, this is Devin with HDpiano.com, and in today's lesson we're taking a look at Avicii's new song featuring Rita Ora called Lonely Together. I'm going to show you guys the main riff and the pre-chorus in this video, but the rest of the videos with the rest of the song can all be found over at HDpiano.com. Well, I'll show you what we're doing and then we'll break it down. It looks like this. 2, 3, 4. Two more times. Jumping to the pre-chorus. Three, 4. All right, so those last two beats we break and we're into the chorus. Well, that's the main riff, the verse and pre-chorus essentially, but like I said, the rest is over at the site, and I've got kind of a nice piano arrangement going on, more or less copying the original, but as the parts kind of thicken up, I compensated with a little lower bass notes and kind of a little more 4 on the floor vibe in the left hand and a little more rhythm in the right hand. So you'll see all that over at part 2. But before we break this down, I do have a question for you guys. This is a classic example of, one of the most common synth techniques, really in any era of synthesis, I'd say, is this particular feature on synths that are that define the sound so much. And I'm curious, I want you guys to comment below if you have any idea what that might be. It's kind of that, where it goes from that kind of dark and muffled sound to the more bright and sparkly sound. So if you guys have any knowledge of synthesis, comment below and we'll have a little quiz. And I'll talk about that in part 2 since I've been getting into synthesis myself. All right, so let's break it down here. First, I'm going to show you guys the notes without that fancy rhythm, and then we'll break that down and see what that's all about. So we start with D minor, and we're in D minor for this song. Let's just call it that. So we have D in the left and F in the right. Middle C is here, so we're above middle C in the right. This is D minor. This is the root D and the minor third in the right. And this is a consistent pattern, tenths. So we're going to take this tenth and jump it down to A. Same shape, so A in the left, C in the right. This gives us A minor. Take it up the scale. B flat in the left to D in the right. Okay. That's B flat major. Next chord and final chord of this section is C major, C and E. So let's try it in rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two beats of each. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Let's slow it down just a touch. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so if you've got that down, then you are halfway there. Let's talk about the fancy rhythm that we've got going on. It's a pretty common thing, and I want to break it down in the left hand first, because what we're seeing in the left hand is what I like to call the pop clave. You'll hear me talk about that in a lot of different tutorials, and it's very common in any sort of like top 40 music. It's a rhythm from, that comes from reggaeton, kind of like old African samba type vibes. But we're hearing it a lot in pop music these days. And it's 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. In other words, it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. All right, so 2 groups of 3 and then a group of 2, and that adds up to 8. So it's kind of a syncopated rhythm that fills out an 8-beat cycle quite nicely. All right. So if we get that going in our left hand, we could just hold the right hand for a second. All right, so that's a good place to start if that rhythm alone is a little challenging. But if you're ready to move on, all the right hand is doing here is echoing the left by a 16th note. So check it out. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, so if you just did this, which is doing it parallel in both hands, If somehow you could just mechanically shift the rhythm of your right hand by 1/16 note, you would get this. All right, so that's what's going on, and that's going to get you through the majority of the tune. So let's go ahead and show you guys the pre-chorus now. We're going to keep the same shape, but we're going to go down to G minor. So G in the left and B flat in the right. And we keep the same rhythm going on, but let me show you the chords first. G minor. We walk up to A minor. So we've seen that before. Walk up to B flat, another familiar one, and another one, C major. Now here, instead of going up to D minor, we jump up to F in the left hand, and we keep an octave in the right. So just parallel Fs, and then we go to D minor. So the right hand stays, but the left hand moves down to D. And then we go down to C. C is an octave, not C major, just C octave. And that's the pre-chorus. So check it out in rhythm. Sorry, here we go. F octave, D minor, and C octave. 3, 4. And we break those last two beats to lead into the chorus. Now you might have noticed that I did F, D, D, meaning rather than starting on beat 3, like so, 3, 4, I actually pick up on that D starting in, the and of 2. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. And that's just something that's on the recording. So be sure to catch that. And then when we get to C, just the same pattern with octaves. 3, 4. And then we leave those two beats blank to get us into the chorus. So there you have it, the main riff and pre-chorus of Lonely Together by Avicii featuring Rita Ora. Hope to see you guys over at part 2 over at HDpiano.com to learn the rest of the song. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And while I have you here, if you could like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that would all be lovely. This is Devin with HDpiano.com. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys soon.